Going on, everybody? Today we're going to be working on this Mini 5. I'm going to show you how to change this entire screen assembly. First thing we're going to do is grab our little pry tool, dip it into some alcohol, make our way underneath the glass. This one's a broken LCD, so I don't really care about saving it, but I'm going to do it just like I would if it was a good LCD. Show you guys how to do it just in case you need to change a charging port, a battery, and you don't want to break the screen. So it's pretty much just going through the edges, not too deep. This one's kind of harder because it's shattered all over the place. If it was in one piece, it would have been way easier, but I just want you guys to get an idea. All I need is a little gap to get in. And then you will get a thin plastic card. Plain cards work as well. Gently slide all the way through. Leave that in there so it doesn't re-stick. The whole trick is you just gently slide through. You're underneath the LCD, so if this, let's say this was a good LCD, you wouldn't break it, you wouldn't crack the glass. The reason this is coming out in pieces is because it's already broken. So once you do that, you lift up towards the home button. Not too much though. And then pull back. That's it. You don't want to pry here because the home button flex sits very close to it and you might damage it, then you'll lose fingerprint. Next thing we're going to do is remove these two screws. It's a Phillips screwdriver. Now I don't know if this iPad's dead or off because the LCD is broken, so we'll plug in the new screen to test and we'll figure it out. Okay, once those two screws are out, you gently pry up by the battery and pull towards you a little bit. This gets stuck to the battery, so you don't want to pull too hard. You don't want to rip that connector. Gently disconnect these. I recommend fingernails or a plastic spudger. I've been doing this for so long, I'm comfortable to do it with the tweezer. Okay, screen is off. We're going to grab a blade. Clean the edges for the new glue. They're pretty straightforward repairs. First time doing it, take your time. You don't want to mess anything up. Follow instructions. Got to make sure that battery is disconnected before you install the new screen. You don't want to blow out that backlight. Then you go over it one more time, make sure there's no little pieces of glass or anything. You don't want to scratch or break the new assembly you're putting on. That's the problem with these that are shattered a lot. Glass gets stuck to the edges and everything else. This is my Qianli metal brush. I use this thing for everything. It's amazing. If things like this happen, you're fine. That's just a protective film over it. You didn't damage it. Give it a little blow. Sorry about that. I know it's pretty loud. Okay. All set over there. Let's go ahead and lift this guy back up. I'm gonna peel this off the camera. It's that little sponge piece. Okay, let me grab our new screen. Gotta line up the connectors. Just hover over the connector with the flex with your finger. If you feel resistance, don't put too much pressure. You can damage the connector on the motherboard. It's fixable, but it's gonna take a while. It's gonna cost you money too. Yep, and it's dead. I'm gonna put this thing on charge and we'll be right back. Well, I'm back. iPad's still charging, but we're going to continue prepping the screen. We need the home button off the old screen, so first thing we're going to do is remove this protective tape over the connector, put it aside because we're going to put it on the new screen. Pop the connector up. There we go. Gently go underneath, pull out. Try to peel these silicone pieces off, or glue, or whatever it is. It's glue, just don't know what kind of glue. And we get a prying tool, go directly underneath, pry up. Let's put him aside. Dip your pry tool in some alcohol, go underneath. Now take your time when you're doing this. You don't want to damage this. You can always replace the home button. You'll just lose fingerprint. Then you go directly underneath the home button. Again, if you do feel resistance, don't be afraid to use alcohol. See how much easier it makes the job? Alright. Let's put this whole screen aside. Okay, this just turned on. It's at 2%. Screen seems to be fine. Let's power it off. Disconnect that battery again. Connect the connectors. All right. I put 1mm Tesa tape all around the home button bracket. You could do that too. After you do that, you remove the protective film. That way, this way your home button or your customer's home button will never fall out. You'll never get an warranty repair because the home button fell out. Next thing we're going to do is grab the home button itself. If it doesn't stick all over my gloves. Go ahead and line it up. Put it in place. There we go, clicked right in, perfect. Now what we're going to do is put 2mm Tesa tape over this. Alright, once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and peel off the protective film off the Tesa tape. Don't use any other tape. Spend a couple dollars more, get this Tesa tape. It's the best tape you're going to find. It's worth every penny. They have them different sizes, 1mm, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay, once we do that, we're going to put a little dab of glue. Very tiny bit, just for extra little dot. That was a little too much, but it is what it is, no problem. Then we're going to line up our bracket. Sorry, I'm gonna have to lift it because I have to line it up. We're pretty much lining up the metal bracket dead centered with the nipple on the home button, so that will click. Test it out, perfect. We're in a perfect spot. And go ahead and connect the home button. Push the connector lock down. There we go, that's in place now. Alright, we're going to pull the tape off of the old screen, put it over the connector like I said earlier we would. Now there's something else I want to talk to you guys about. The Mini 5 and the Mini 4 is the same thing. This piece of flex right here, if your screen does not come with it on, your iPad's going to turn on. Once it's booted, it's going to go straight to a black screen. This is what controls the power button. So if it sees that this is missing, it's not going to let you do it. It will only, the power button will only work on long press, and it will only let you turn it off. You won't see your screen. So if your screen already doesn't come with this, you'll have to desolder this off of the old screen and put it on the new one. My screens all come with it. And if you don't have any soldering experience or anything, spend a couple dollars extra and get it with that on there. So I'm just going to pull the tape off of the old one. And put it on the new one. We don't want to short anything out. Don't want any metal to metal contact. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull this guy off so it doesn't bother me later. I'll bring the iPad back in. Perfect. Connect the battery. Battery's connected. I'm going to go ahead and put our screws. Let's go ahead and hit that power button one more time. Perfect, everything's working. So what we're going to do next is get our B7000 glue. Lightly go around the edges. You don't need to put too much. You don't want any of this stuff to leak into your LCD. So very lightly. All around. Okay, that's that. Go ahead and peel the rest of these protective films off Tesa. Okay. Go ahead and line up your screen. And once it's lined up, push it into place. Perfect. And clamp it down. All around with the clamps so the screen is nice and even, flush. You don't want to have it high one spot and flush one spot. It looks ugly. You want to do a good job. And always pay attention because that was not in spot. See, I don't know if you guys can see in camera how it's lifted. As soon as I put the clamps on, it goes into place. Leave it for about an hour or two. Glue will settle and be ready for pickup. There we go, job's done. Put it on charge for the customer. That's it, the job is done. Please like and subscribe. If there's any videos you guys would like me to make, please leave it in the comments. You guys have a good rest of the day.